Hello, welcome to Back to School Night. I am Miss Kelly, and over the course of the year, I will be teaching your children the fundamentals of earth science. One of my many goals for the year is to enable them to share my belief that geology rocks. In order to help you understand the other goals that I have for myself, your children, and what I hope to bring to the classroom this year, I wanted to venture into a subject that I don't normally teach. So we're going to take a quick history lesson. So, as you know, the United States has always strived to be a democratic nation, embodying the ideals of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, equality, and the right to freedom of religion and the freedom of speech. Now, a majority of the American people believe that if you work hard enough, you will be successful, regardless of your background, what socioeconomic class you come from. You know, the idea of the American dream. And these foundations and tools are provided to us primarily from school, and that we need to achieve this goal. The democratic ideals we have hoped to manifest throughout our country have had a direct correlation to the goals of our public education system. Some of these are that schools must provide students equality of opportunity. They must enable students to acquire the ability, to deal with others in the public arena, and mostly to increase people's happiness and enrich their lives culturally and intellectually. Now, while I believe that these should be a major component of the purposes of schools in our country, these goals are not an accurate reflection of our current system. Now, the disparities amongst school districts in regards to funding and resources are apparent now more than ever. This is largely due to the comparison of standardized test scores of students from different backgrounds, and this most often reflects the groups of people within certain school districts. Some would say that this gap in the test scores is the result of an education debt. The remnants of our history are still present in our current society. And this has had an impact on, the education of our children and our students. And I kind of believe that this is true. Now, the preparation for standardized tests, such as the Common Core and the Regents, are the backbone of the curriculum. There's so much emphasis placed on these tests so that we can compete, nationally and internationally as well. This leaves little room for, the variation of learning styles within the classroom. Not all kids are the same, and it limits the development of individual interests and different forms of expression. Lastly, a majority of our schools are significantly lacking diversity amongst students and staff, which kind of goes back to, a distinct group of people encompassing a specific school district and the disparities that are apparent between them. So, through this very brief and quick examination of the history of the purposes, of our schools and the current predominant issues within the system, I have thought a lot about the teacher I want and hope to be. Now, as I will be preparing your children for the earth science regents, I hope to not just be, depositing thoughts into their minds, but to enable them to critically think about certain earth processes and concepts, to hone their curiosity about the origins of our planet, and how these processes and concepts come to have an impact on our species and all the other species that are within our world. I firmly believe in preparing students for life after their education. So I believe that, interaction in the classroom is the best way for children to learn and appreciate, or, at least deal with people who are different from themselves. This is, how life is after, high school or college. You deal with people that are different. And a component of this, is learning about and respecting different cultures. Although, this is a science class, I will try to relate certain concepts. For example, let's take climate change. And, ask students to kind of assess the impact that it will have on communities throughout the world, coastal cities, certain groups of people that will be significantly at a disadvantage with the changes that are happening. What can we do to fix this, or how can we help them? I will try to differentiate my instruction, to encompass a variety of learning styles and to encourage my students to have the highest expectations of themselves that they can. And I think the most important goal is to enable my students to attain some level of well-being higher than where they started in the beginning of the year. And for me, that is the ultimate success. Thank you.